Wisdom, wisdom, that's the test. Which rival wisdom team is best? 52 teams of 8 antique rival wisdoms compete to do the future a favor and guide a life at stop2think.com. Team quote 44.1. To the victors belong the spoils. Andrew Jackson 1767 to 1845. This famous quote from Andrew Jackson emerged during his presidency and reflected his approach to political appointments and governance. As the 7th U.S. president, Jackson introduced what became known as the spoils system, the practice of rewarding political supporters with government positions after winning an election. The phrase essentially means that those who win, in war, politics, or other contests, gain the right to claim the benefits or rewards of their victory. While Jackson popularized this concept in American politics, it represented a significant shift from previous administrations' approaches. Before Jackson, presidents generally maintained existing government employees regardless of political affiliation. After Jackson, government positions were increasingly given to political supporters as rewards. While Jackson saw this as a democratic principle, giving ordinary citizens access to government positions, critics argued it promoted corruption and incompetence by prioritizing political loyalty over merit. The tension between political patronage and professional merit continues to influence discussions about government appointments today. Team quote 44.2. The man who trusts men will make fewer mistakes than he who distrusts them. Camillo di Cavour 1810 to 1861. This insightful quote from Camillo di Cavour, one of the key architects of Italian unification, reflects a nuanced understanding of human nature and leadership. As the first prime minister of unified Italy, Cavour's perspective was shaped by his extensive diplomatic and political experience. The quote suggests several deeper truths about human relationships and leadership. When we trust others, people often rise to meet our expectations. Collaboration and open communication become more natural. Innovation and creativity flourish in an atmosphere of trust. Energy can be directed toward productive goals rather than defensive measures. When we lead with distrust, we create self-fulfilling prophecies of unreliability. Resources are wasted on excessive monitoring and control. Relationships become transactional rather than transformational. Opportunities for cooperation and growth are missed. Cavour's observation aligns with modern organizational psychology research, showing that high-trust environments tend to be more productive and innovative. However, his statement is particularly noteworthy because it acknowledges that some mistakes will still occur either way. It's about choosing the path that leads to fewer errors overall, not seeking perfection. Team quote 44.3. To read without reflecting is like eating without digesting. Edmund Burke 1729 to 1797. This metaphor from Edmund Burke, the Irish statesman and political philosopher, brilliantly captures the relationship between passive consumption and active understanding, whether of food or knowledge. Reading without reflection. Words pass through the mind without leaving lasting impact. Information remains superficial and unconnected. Knowledge isn't integrated into existing understanding. Little lasting change occurs in one's thinking. Just as with eating, food passing through without proper digestion provides limited nutrition. The body can't extract maximum value from what it consumes. Energy and nutrients aren't properly absorbed. The full benefit of the meal isn't realized. Burke's insight speaks to the importance of active engagement with what we read through, questioning and analyzing the text, making connections to existing knowledge, considering practical applications, forming our own conclusions and perspectives. This quote remains especially relevant today, when we often consume vast amounts of information quickly through digital media. Burke reminds us that the value of reading lies not in the volume we consume, but in how deeply we process and integrate what we read into our understanding. Team quote 44.4. A forest bird never wants a cage. Henrik Ibsen 1828 to 1906. This poetic line from Henrik Ibsen, the influential Norwegian playwright, captures a profound truth about freedom and human nature. The metaphor works on multiple levels. Natural state. Just as a wild bird is meant to soar freely through forests, humans naturally seek freedom and self-determination. The forest represents the natural environment, where one can truly be oneself. Artificial constraints. The cage, though it might offer security and predictability, represents an unnatural restriction. Even if gilded or comfortable, it remains fundamentally at odds with the bird's true nature. Innate desires. The quote suggests that the yearning for freedom is instinctive and unlearned. The forest bird doesn't need to be taught to reject the cage. This speaks to fundamental human desires for autonomy and self-direction. This theme of freedom versus confinement appears frequently in Ibsen's works, particularly in plays like A Doll's House, where characters struggle against social constraints and conventional expectations. The image resonates with his broader criticism of societal restrictions that limit individual authenticity and growth. The simplicity of the statement belies its depth. It elegantly expresses how any form of unnatural constraint, no matter how well-intentioned, conflicts with our essential nature and our need for authentic self-expression. Team quote 44.5. Friendships are discovered rather than made. Harriet Beecher Stowe 1811 to 1896. This insightful observation from Harriet Beecher Stowe, the American author best known for Uncle Tom's Cabin, offers a subtle yet profound perspective on the nature of friendship. The quote suggests that true friendships aren't manufactured or forced, but rather uncovered, like finding something precious that was already there. This view has several meaningful implications. Authenticity. Real friendship can't be artificially constructed or rushed. It emerges naturally as people recognize their genuine connection and compatibility. Organic development. Instead of trying to create friendships through deliberate effort, we discover them through natural interactions and shared experiences. Recognition. The word discovered implies that compatible friends already exist. We just need to recognize them when our paths cross. It's more about awareness and openness than active construction. This perspective challenges the modern tendency to approach relationships strategically or instrumentally. Stowe suggests that true friendship is less about networking or social engineering, and more about being authentic and attentive to natural connections when they occur. The wisdom here is particularly relevant today, when social media and professional networking can make friendship feel like something to be cultivated strategically rather than discovered naturally. Stowe reminds us that the most meaningful friendships often arise unexpectedly, through genuine interaction, rather than calculated effort. Team quote 44.6. Be curious, not judgmental. Walt Whitman 1819 to 1892. This simple yet profound statement from Walt Whitman, the American poet and champion of individuality, encapsulates a powerful approach to understanding both others and the world around us. The contrast between curiosity and judgment reveals two fundamentally different ways of engaging with what we encounter. Curiosity leads to open-minded exploration of different perspectives, deeper understanding of others' experiences, continuous learning and personal growth, genuine connection through authentic interest, while judgment tends to close off opportunities for understanding, create barriers between people, limit our own learning and growth, reinforce existing biases and assumptions. This mindset becomes particularly valuable in challenging situations where our first instinct might be to judge. By choosing curiosity instead, we create opportunities for empathy, understanding, and meaningful connection, something Whitman demonstrated throughout his work as he sought to understand and celebrate the full spectrum of American life and human experience. Team quote 44.7. There is no revenge so complete as forgiveness. Josh Billings 1818, 1885. This profound observation from Josh Billings, the pen name of Henry Wheeler Shaw, offers a paradoxical truth about the power of forgiveness. As a popular 19th-century American humorist and lecturer, Billings was known for expressing deep wisdom through accessible language. The quote reveals several layers of insight. Forgiveness is powerful because it breaks the cycle of hurt and retaliation, frees the forgiver from carrying the burden of resentment, denies the offender the power to continue causing emotional pain, often affects the forgiven person more deeply than punishment would. The paradox lies in how forgiveness achieves what revenge seeks: resolution, without causing further harm, transforms both the forgiver and the forgiven, requires more strength than retaliation, creates positive change rather than perpetuating negativity. While revenge seeks to settle a score, forgiveness transcends the entire concept of scoring. It's complete because it resolves the situation on multiple levels: emotional, psychological, and sometimes even spiritual. This aligns with modern psychological research, showing that forgiveness contributes significantly to mental health and well-being, while holding on to revenge fantasies often hurts the holder more than the target. Billings captures how forgiveness can be the ultimate power move, not because it harms the other person, but because it liberates ourselves while potentially transforming the relationship entirely. Team quote 44.8. Consequences are unpitying. George Eliot, 1819–1880. This terse yet powerful observation by George Eliot, the pen name of Mary and Evans, captures a fundamental truth about the nature of cause and effect in our lives. The quote emphasizes that consequences are indifferent to our intentions, excuses, or wishes, follow actions with mechanical precision, regardless of whether we anticipated them, don't respond to pleading or regret, operate without mercy or consideration for our circumstances. What makes this insight particularly striking is its universality. Whether in personal relationships, business decisions, environmental actions, or moral choices, consequences unfold according to their own logic, unmoved by our hopes or rationalizations. The quote's brevity actually enhances its impact. Much like a law of physics stated plainly, it serves as both a warning and a reminder that our actions have real effects, regardless of what we meant to happen. We cannot negotiate with consequences after the fact. Understanding this truth is crucial for making wise decisions. Responsibility means considering potential consequences before acting. This perspective was particularly relevant in Victorian England when Eliot was writing, as it was a time of rapid social and technological change, where actions often had far-reaching, unforeseen consequences. It remains equally relevant today, perhaps even more so, given the interconnected nature of our modern world. And to help raise school test scores and confidence with free easy extra advantage math, spelling and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with octa repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free easy alpha cipher-coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this cipher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily, so change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like Pretty Witty Baby Onesies and Pretty Witty Kids. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence, sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think, therefore I think tees I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom. Make us all wiser and kinder. And for a downloadable PDF of these team quotes, join the 52 of 8 today.